next step for the chest in the back is to do the joiner strips from the cutoffs from the side plates. So we're going to walk through that here. Necessary tools, snips of some sort to even things out. That's the first thing I have right now. Is we never wanted to over trim, so now we have a good trim line. We can just follow it all the way up. Pretty decent butt joint. Trim off a wee bit more. It'll probably line up really well. So, and I'm not really worried about this corner here. It's going to flex around. So, and we'll cut it off at a later date. All right. Now you want to get out the clamps. And let's estimate curve, just taking the extra plastic and curving it. See where we can inset it, make sure we don't have too much hanging off or whatnot. Looks pretty good. You can pretty much put it anywhere. I'm going to line it up with a little bit of a return edge that's left. And we got a little bit more of an angle that can be split off right there. Since we're filling this anyway, don't be afraid if you over trim, because it's not really going to make a difference in the end. Yeah, that's good. So part of prep, sandpaper, and sand both sides. Dust it off a bit. Let's estimate again. This was a pretty good piece. I just don't want it to go back too far, so it doesn't need to be this big. Catch that return edge. And I'm pretty much satisfied. So we'll prep this side, sand it. Still some burrs on it from when it was on the bandsaw. I'm going to go ahead and run it on the belt sander to round the edges real quick, so it doesn't get caught on clothing or your top while you're wearing it. Still a touch more I can get off. So, that's why we test fit. You measure twice and cut 3 times. Or you measure 12 times and cut 3 times. Yeah, that's much better. We're not forcing anything, and we have a much more natural butt joint now. I'll start gluing this in place. Make sure I have the right side first. Yeah, now it seems a touch long. Yeah, it's a touch long now, or a little bit wide, so I'll take it down just a step further and back on the belt sander. This is the fun stuff about building armor, because we are, we're creating, we're crafting, we're making things happen. Even if I could do this like out of foam or whatnot, think of all the work you'd have to do before you'd even get to just this point, or making your strap overs to go to everything else. Getting a kit is just speeding up the process. And now I am very happy with what I see. I've got good distance here that we can see. Let's see from the underside. Okay. So I'm going to start with the chest because we have more molding to do on the back. And like I said, there's a little return edge that was left here. So that's the area. I guess I do have room for a pencil mark. It could go, if I pull it up, that gives us a nice reference point. Yeah, I got room for a pencil mark there. Go a little bit more on the front than it is on the back. Doesn't really matter. Want to be careful with getting up too much glue up to that edge with how much is going to run off. Super glue does really well with filling it with the accelerant, but I really like the Polyflex as a material. And it's just squeezing. That's why we sand both surfaces too, because now it has something to soak into for that chemical bond, instead of having to force accelerant in there, which we'll force accelerant in anyway, but we want to get a strong hold. It's already down. Let's make it expand. Alright, that tab is set, so we'll call this the tab setting phase. The next tab here, or next, is the back. It will butt joint right up to it. We could seam fill it if we have a good butt joint that we don't have to. If you look at the 501st CRLs, you'll see where it's supposed to be split in two pieces. Well, you can fake that. You only need to put a little notch in, and you could even Dremel in down right there, and it'll look like it's two pieces. There's all sorts of different methods for putting things together and getting around rules or build regulations, or just anyone thinking that it has to be one way or it's not accepted, because everything is acceptable. We're just supposed to look like the picture. That's it. How you built it is how you wanted it. And just globbed in the glue. Now we have some excess, and I'll wipe that off with my finger. Glue's really not cooperating with me right this second. There we go. Having a third hand would be really nice, but I got it in two somehow. A bit more on the inside. Make sure it's nice and set. Okay, she's still good. Nice brace right there. We still have this edge left. It'll get shaved down on the belt sander and be one contiguous piece. No big deal. So we'll move on to the other side. I've got plenty of cut off ABS here. Obviously don't need near this much. It's just not even wanting to cooperate. Just want to put some pressure on it. Bending this thing around. It's so much easier working with this after it's already been formed and heated. See, it didn't even take anything off, and now it just slid right in. Let's see. Are we going to leave a bigger one this time? It's got plenty of scrap. We're going to fill this side because there is an obvious gap. With this configuration, with the fangs up a little bit higher, they're not, it's more of a butt joint like the other side. And in this instance, again, we want to glue down the chest first. I'm just getting a feel for it. You know, checking. We can still skim a little bit off of this edge right here. And go ahead and just level it off. Good to go there. We'll be good to go here. We'll pencil mark the front end. Probably could have just sanded the whole thing right then and there. Okay, we're not sanded in there either. Got some 80 right here. No, I don't. Where is it? Where's the 80? All right, well, just the 80 I'm using then. And I'm scuffing under here where the shoulder straps are going to glue up into. Killing two birds with one stone. I'll end up sanding them again once we install the shoulder straps. It's just while I'm in here, I like to go ahead and get it all done. I'm more of an efficiency worker than a camera artist. Always check and check and check. Check and recheck. Fit and refit. Can't stress that enough before you make anything permanent. This is where the clamps come in real handy. And notice I'm not trying to use accelerator here at this stage. I really want these to set proper and not have a bunch of runoff on other parts. We'll get to the accelerant stage whenever it's time. So now the choice is yours. We're gonna go down right here on the back and make another pencil mark. This one I might go ahead and hit with the accelerant just to get it set. It's pretty close to just wanting to curve and all line up. Put that down, and now we can hit it. Yeah, we're right on that pencil mark. That is the beauty of plastics. Real easy to put together. I feel this side over here kind of bowing up. We'll put some either reinforcing squirts or just another dab of glue in that little gap I see here. I'm going to blow it in. Trust me, it's not going anywhere. You could come around all sorts of tabs and nylon and everything else. Well, that's a slight error on my part. I forgot to run the edge on the belt sander before I glued that in. Let's see if we can see it here. You see I have a sharp corner right here. I'm not a real fan of the sharp corners, so I'll round that out by hand. Would have much rather just got it nipped out. Wasn't thinking about it whenever I was trimming it down to fit nicely. And there we go. It's rounded off. And those are a little rough, but they could get snagged. I'm going to avoid that when possible, because these shirts aren't cheap. They're hard to make. You know, you could get away with wearing like what do you call it, long johns, some gray long johns if you had to. Alright, we are set. Tabs are in place. Again, armor, I don't mind kicking around. I think I've proven it. Just tossing it on the table here. It's sturdy, it's rugged, nothing's broken apart. And that's the basic assembly on the chest and back. Now you're wondering, we've got cutoffs on each side to deal with now. I could take care of them now, I could take care of them later. It really doesn't make me any difference. Just take your snips and we'll just follow the curve down. Not try to take off too much material. This will be a little trickier. And got a little spot for a belt sander. So that's her. Nice and handy. We got the front and back assembly here. This is just the base assembly. That covers the basic assembly of the Shore tank or Deathtrooper chest and back. That concludes the basic collar, back, and chest construction tutorial for the Shore tank or Deathtrooper, sort of. We'll have other videos chronicling the rest of it if you can't figure it out from here. So stay tuned for more videos, and happy trooping.